would like to remind everyone that this show is brought to you by the Dolphin Wars.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to King Dolphin TV. I am Raymond, and I am author of the Dolphin Wars and ruler of the best pod in YouTube.
Hello, good evening.
Go ahead, Jed. Okay. Jill is right here.
I am here.
Okay, and hello, Jill. Thank you for joining us
You're welcome.
tonight for a pretty interesting episode and timely with Valentine's Day happening yesterday.
Well, right. You told me that you had a spot open for me sometime in February, so I figured we could talk about some of the relationships in Deep Space Nine, some of the more meaningful ones. Anyway, there are lots of one-offs that are not so good.
Yeah. Yep. So Jill's going to help me discuss the really cool relationships in Deep Space Nine. And as background, you know her as one of the magnificent wrenches for Overlord Doomcock, and she is the amazing communications officer at the Valentines Star Trek show. And she also gives amazing reviews on her own channel in her own right.
Yes, thank you. Next Tuesday, we'll be talking about Space Seed.
Ooh, I gotta make sure I watch that one. So before we get started, if you like what we're doing here with these interviews, with these discussions, and of course, just cause, please like and subscribe to the channel. We are now at 250 subscribers. Yeah, yay!
Wow, congratulations!
Thank you. Holding at 250. Hopefully, we can keep getting more. And but what's more important is if you guys got any creators out there that you want me to interview, please either let them know how to reach me, Sandra or one of the other wrenchers, or put my email address out there, or send me their information.
Yeah, that's what's important, the conversation and the creators that you want to share.
Exactly. So let's make some waves and let's welcome the chatters that are out here. Let's see. We've got the amazing wrench team. We've got Legatus Legion I, the first one, last out. We've got John Randall. He's not feeling well, but
oh no, felt better soon.
Yeah, but he's still going to be out there. He's going to hang out with us. Fet for Hire made a drop by, and he's going to listen on the replay. And congratulations, Fet! You did 700 subs.
Yeah, he just hit his own milestone. Congratulations on 700.
Yep, let's keep him going. And we've got the Comic Relief Crusader here, and of course, we cannot forget our own bear with the flare. Snort up, boss. Cooper. Let's talk about love.com.
Snort Poopus is good at that.
Yep, that's true. All righty. So when we were talking about doing this, we, again, as Jill said, we were trying to figure out what we were going to do with the next stream that Jill's going to be on. And we said we're going to have it in February. We're going to have it close to Valentine's Day. So let's talk about the relationships. Legatus Legionii says, and if anybody wants to know what the Valentine's Day special is a day later, it's because it took the signal that long from DS9 to reach us.
Either that or maybe Bejor celebrates it a day later.
Good point. Good point. Let's welcome the chatters that are out there right now. Hopefully more will come in, but right now we've got Scotty R37. Hello, Scotty. Welcome.
Hi, Scotty.
And we have Stuart Mitchell.
Hello.
Hello, Stuart. So, and we'll welcome more as they come along. So, when we did talk about the romances and frenemies last time, and how they seemed to it was very unlikely friendships that we talked about last time. But now we'll talk about probably the three longest running romances of the series.
The longest running, and each of them are all end tragically.
Yeah.
Or maybe not tragically, but just they end.
Yeah, they end. We're talking about Ben Sisko and Cassidy Yates. And we're talking, of course, Odo and Kira. And then probably the most tragic of them.
Yes, that's the tragic. Worf and Jadzia.
Yes. So the one thing I take out of it is they weren't quick buildups into their relationships. It did take them at least one season for them to really get the relationship started. Sisko's and Cassidy's, I think, started in season
4. Season 3, we don't get her name, but we do know that Jake is setting her up.
Yes, Jake is playing matchmaker.
I think that's really cute that he does that.
And
it really works out.
Yeah. Find me a person, bring me
a
catch.
I need to help my child. I'll be right back.
Okay. Cobalt Bald Eagle says it's time for the sweet, sultry sounds of Antiderivative Jill. Listen close as she reveals the sexy side of Star Trek. Yeah, I'll have to read that again when she comes back on. Let's see. So, hello, Cobalt. And where Cobalt is, we may have Pudgy wandering in.
That's good news.
Yeah.
Pudgy's awesome.
Yes, Pudgy is awesome. So this is what Cobalt says. It's time for the sweet, sultry sounds of Antiderivative Jill. Listen close as she reveals the sexy side of Star Trek. Woo!
Yeah, that's basically what we're talking about.
Yes. So season 4 was when Sisko and Cassidy started seeing each other, and then season 5, they get closer. Unfortunately, she has to go to probably the shortest prison stint ever.
Yeah, right. Well, okay. Star Trek is about working relationships, and they kind of share kindred, both being captains. One is Starfleet captain, one's the captain of the freighter. So before she has to go to prison, though, they do have a few moments where their relationship is kind of building up, and they're giving each other gifts, and they kind of do more of the more traditional relationship things that you do because they're humans. So
Mhm.
they're both human. So we get that
Right.
normal like here's a silk scarf, here's a
Mhm.
baseball hat,
Yep.
and they do domestic things like Cisco is cooking for her whenever she
Of
comes
course.
around.
Yep. Yep. And so she's definitely the perfect person to uh, for Cisco to move on from Jennifer.
Yeah, right. And that is the biggest thing is moving on from Jennifer because when he finds out that Cassidy wants to live on the station, he doesn't jump at it excitedly because he's afraid of getting close to someone because that's how he lost Jennifer, being
Mhm.
in command
Yeah. Yeah.
with someone he loves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then
And then and then she goes to prison.
yeah, and then
I'm
she
not.
goes. She did. She didn't stay long in prison, so still trying to figure out
Yeah,
that.
well, I'm not even sure why they had her support the Maquis in the first place, but at least she faced up to her crimes and went to prison instead of running away from her mistakes. And maybe that's probably why her sentence was reduced because she was honest about it. Maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe Starfleet decided, well, we're in the middle of the war. We know that Cisco likes her, so let's let her go.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. They never
They,
really.
they don't explain it, do they?
They don't explain it. She's just back at the station. They're back together, and eventually they get married.
Oh, right. And I have a few pictures for that because I know you did ask me to get a few.
Oh, go ahead. And while you're doing that, hello, $451. He says, hi all. Hi, Jill. A bit late for Valentine's Day. Well, we explained that. It was either we got the signal late from Bajor or the Bajorans celebrated a day later.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
And so that's their marriage ceremony.
There's the marriage ceremony. Yeah.
And
Jake is the best man.
before they get married, actually, there was another thing they did where Cisco took her to the ruins to help him find the lost city of Bajor. And so there was a little adventure that they did, a little bonding thing.
Yeah. Was that when he got taken over by the? He had a prophet, a vision.
Yes, it was a whole emissary journey. So
Yeah.
she was like, "This is your journey, not mine."
Yeah.
He found this obelisk.
Yep.
And now instead of working for the Maquis, Cassidy's now working for Starfleet instead. But she didn't like the paperwork.
She actually ended up working for Bajor. She went back to work for Bajor, didn't she?
Oh yes, that's right. Well, but there's this one point. I guess maybe she gave up working for Starfleet because at one point she says, "Well, hopefully this is my last mission report for Starfleet Command." When I first agreed to be convoy liaison officer, I thought for sure, why not? So I think those two tie in together with working. Well, if you're working for Bajor, you're also working for Starfleet because they're working together. So that makes sense.
Yeah. And of course, it didn't hurt that Cisco did some manipulating of the schedule, like in the "Take Me Out to the Holosuite." He kind of arranged for Cassidy to have some time off so she could help
practice
with the ball team.
And she did really great at that because she helped rally the team together to help them realize why this was so important to Cisco to defeat this Vulcan.
Yep.
From his academy days.
Mm-hmm.
She says, well, he's embarrassed. He's calling it an adolescent rivalry, but Solak's the one that's kept this thing going.
That is true.
And so, of course, they do lose the game, but they win for the effort and the friendships that and that actually infuriates Solak and Vulcan because of their manufactured victory.
Hail to manufactured victories.
And actually, one of my favorite moments with Cassidy and Cisco is in Bada Bing, Bada Bing.
Oh yeah, where she
Where
pretty much chews him out and says, "Yes, this is how it should have been. This shows us
right.
what this this shows us what could have been and what should have been."
Yeah,
And
yes, she wants him to help everybody's friend who is Vic because he's basically a sentient hologram. And like you said, Cisco was kind of upset about it because in 1962, Black people weren't welcome in Las Vegas as customers. And like you said, Vix isn't a total. She says, Cassidy says, Vix isn't a totally accurate representation of things of the way things were, but it isn't meant to be. It shows us the way things could have been, the way they should have been.
Exactly.
And going to VIX isn't going to make us forget who we are or where we came from.
Yep.
What it does is remind us that we're no longer bound by any limitations except the ones we impose on ourselves.
Yep. Exactly. And then that turned him over. That got him to help out Vic and the rest of the crew. They win the day and play the best rendition and sing the best rendition of my favorite Sinatra song.
Oh, which one is that? Oh, okay,
The best is yet to come.
Oh, yes.
That's actually the first time I really heard it and loved it. And that and then when I heard the real song from Sinatra and recorded, and then I played that at our wedding day, Sandra's and my wedding day. So
that's awesome. I love that. What a special thing to choose for your wedding.
Yeah. Yep.
Neat.
So, yep, that is our song. So, and it started with that episode. Yep.
And
go ahead.
And so then in Penumbra, do I say that right?
I think so, Penumbra.
Yeah. So then Cisco's planning to build a home on Bajor as he thinks that Bajor is his destiny. And he's planning his own future.
Yeah.
With her.
Yes.
And then he proposes, she accepts, and then we get to this scene here.
Yeah.
Next in the next episode.
Yeah. I like when Ben asks Jake to be the best man, which is the obvious choice, but then Jake gives the thing. He says, "Oh, so I get to plan the bachelor party," and the look on the look on Ben's face was priceless, saying, "Oh no." Especially, I think that was after the Klingon bachelor party, which we'll get to later.
Right.
Yeah. So I think Ben was a little scared, and of course, I don't think they get to the bachelor party because they get married very quickly. In essence, they elope.
Yes, because the prophets keep trying to tell Cisco not to do it, that it's going to end in sorrow and it's going to be dreadful if he does it. But he doesn't listen. They decide they don't want the prophets running their lives. And they get married anyway.
Yep. They do. And it was funny when they were actually talking about the wedding, and the little Bajoran girl comes over and says, "Can I be?" And I don't remember the name.
Me neither.
I think her name was Sanji, and she wanted to be a member of the wedding party. And then there's this crowd.
Yes, because the emissary is getting married, so of course all of Bajor is super excited, and they all want to be a part of it. And so they want there to be a huge wedding with hundreds of people, and that's not what ends up happening.
Nope, they get married on the station with 4 people, and then of course after the war, he gets this.
Yes, that's right.
Yep. She gets pregnant.
Right, and this is in the Dogs of War episode, right before the last final episode. We find
Yep.
out that one of them, I guess Cisco, forgot his birth control.
Mhm.
So I like how they project that in the future, that they're both responsible for the birth control.
Mhm.
But of course, we don't ever get to see that baby because it's born after the series,
Yep.
after Cisco sacrifices himself in What You Leave Behind
Mhm.
and joins with the Prophet aliens.
Mhm. And it's that is a very that's a good sequence of pictures.
Yes.
I find it interesting that in the um, I find it very interesting that in what we left behind, I think they've got the child. The child's a male
Yes.
in the book, the novelizations, the DS9 novelizations, which they don't consider canon, but that they do have her as a girl.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Yeah, she's a
Yeah.
girl
What
in
we
the
left
books.
behind made the child a boy. That's right.
Yeah. So it be interesting to see what. Well, hope we never see.
Well, not right now. Not with
Yeah.
Secret Hideout,
No, not
obviously.
with Secret Hideout. No.
But I don't think we have to worry about that. I don't think Avery Brooks would do it
No,
at this
I don't.
point.
No, he would not. Hello, Maddie's daddy. And I did say hello to Dalek 457.
451. Hello.
451. Yeah, got my numbers all.
Hello. He's out there. Hello, Maddie's daddy.
Yep. And so he go there, and then there's the final vision that Cisco and Cassidy have, where she knows he's there. She knows he'll be back. Just don't know when.
Yeah, he appears in a vision to her, promising to return. She says she'll wait. And so I guess maybe this one doesn't end. It's more open-ended, especially when you're going to have his baby. So she's always going to be thinking about him.
Yep. And, who knows what the prophets have in store? That's
right, only they do.
Only they do, yes.
And Cisco says, "My life, my destiny. The prophets saved me, Cassidy. I'm their emissary, and they still have a great deal for me to do. But first, there's much to learn. Things only the prophets can teach me."
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's the sorrow that the prophets warned us about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I will be back. All right. So so that one, that is probably the most incomplete one of the relationships we're going to talk about today, because he goes into the celestial temple, and we don't know when he's going to come back.
Yes, it's the most open-ended one, where you can't really imagine what is going to happen next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And at the same time, he's got a son. He's got a son out there that, Jake, who will probably stick around the station and help with Cassidy, help Cassidy and probably help raise the kid. Who knows?
That makes sense. That sounds like something Jake would do.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, Cassidy might want him to go live his life because he's a young adult.
Mm-hmm.
There would be that drama for sure. Scotty R37 in the chat asks a question that is relevant.
Wasn't Avery Brooks somewhat annoyed that Cisco left Cassidy with child?
So I'm guessing that Scotty heard an interview where Avery Brooks must have said this.
Yeah.
And that kind of makes some sense. Cisco would definitely want to be there for his kid.
Oh, yeah.
But he didn't really have too much of a choice with what the prophets wanted.
That's true. Now, again, in the novelization, he does, I believe, I'd have to check one of the books, but I believe he does come back right about when she gives birth, or just very soon after.
And that could be because Cisco says, I could be there in years or yesterday. I could be back by yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And of course, I hate that they don't consider these books canon because they're good.
At this point, I want the books to be what we see on screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Obviously, they're better at writing Star Trek than what we have now, so that would be lovely.
Oh yeah, I agree with you 100%, Jill. All right.
And Star Trek has a tradition of taking its stories from books. Why not take it from their own books?
Yeah. That was one thing I never really agreed with Gene saying, that the books can't be canon. I also don't agree with him saying only one episode of the animated series was canon.
Me neither. I love Yesteryear the most, but it's not the only one that is canon.
Yeah. Right. I mean, they've mentioned Robert April as canon, so why not? He's been in the animated series, so
yes.
So, but
in the last episode,
when they went, when everybody was getting younger.
Yes, that's definitely season 2, at least.
Scotty says Bem.
Oh, dear.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
Bem is a colony creature.
Yeah.
David Gerald wanted to make that a TOS episode, and it would have been different from what we got in the animated series.
Yeah, that's true. Of course, animation does allow you to bring more interesting things than what they had pre-CGI in the original series.
Definitely. Whatever budgetary issues they had in TOS of doing certain things, they didn't have that problem with the animated show.
That's true. All right, so we will probably answer any questions about the Cassidy Cisco romance. I'm trying to think. If we went in order, the next one would be Worf and Jadzia. Although for longest running, it would be the Kira Odo one. So let's do Kira Odo.
Yeah, for me, Kira and Odo, they started way from the very beginning in terms of being friends.
Yeah,
because they both connected in terms of being outsiders of Starfleet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the very second episode, where Kira's loyalty to the Federation is tested, and Odo advises that the only important thing is to not betray yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think the one episode that really made me wonder if these two were going to be friends or if they were going to kill each other was when Odo was supposedly responsible for the deaths of some Bajorans during the occupation, and Kira calls him on it. I think that was all the way back in the first season.
Tell me more about this one.
Okay. There was an episode of DS9 where while Odo was working for the Cardassians as chief of security, He was responsible for the deaths of some Bajoran Bajoran resistance members, or supposedly, and
Okay,
she,
yeah, that was early on. Okay,
yeah,
so we got to see Odo's brand of justice while he was under Cardassian rule during the
hmm
occupation
yeah,
when Deep Space Nine is called Terra Nor.
hmm
And Odo, is this the one where he's tasked to find out if Kira had killed someone?
I think so.
Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, no,
Because
I thought there was another episode where the Cardassians, based on evidence that um, I'd have to look at the I'd have to go to the Deep Space Nine companion and take a look at
yes,
it.
because I missed that one.
Yeah,
There's one disconnected from when he was, because there was one where with Tarek Nor, which is the first time Odo actually meets Kira, and he
yeah,
finds out that her alibi was false, but it was only false because she was sabotaging the mines instead of
mhm,
not murdering anyone.
yeah,
So this is why he just tells Ducat that she didn't kill anybody, and her lies. He only lies to save Kira's life because his brand of justice says that Kira doesn't deserve to die just for
mhm,
sabotaging the mines.
right, right,
And if Ducat would have given her a smaller sentence, Yoda probably would have given her out.
okay. Let's see, and then there were let's see, they were friends throughout the throughout season two,
Yes.
but I know the episode where he okay, it was
They're friends and colleagues.
their friends and colleagues, and then a after he finds out that he's a founder, he you can tell that she's glad that he stays. She's glad
Oh,
that
right. Yes. I know what you're talking about. This is when he's drawn,
they go to the founder's homeworld.
yes. He's drawn to the Omarian Nebula,
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't really know why, but
Yep.
it turns out to be his birthplace, and
Mm-hmm.
it's instinctual, like it is with the salmon
Yep.
going up river.
Yep.
But he ultimately agrees with Kira when she says that the Dominion rule is tantamount to murder,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
so that's why he decides to stay
Yep. And
with
then
Deep Space Nine.
yep. And then later on in that season, um, the the crew of the Defiant end up going back in time, and I think that was the episode that he said that he was in love with her.
Oh, right, but that was future Odo telling past Kira. Like this is 200 years in the future Odo telling regular present Kira rather.
Yeah. God,
And
time.
so,
I get headaches with time travel.
oh my gosh, yes, me too. So
Yeah.
but actually before that episode, Odo actually tells the founders that he loves Kira
Yes.
before he tells.
When the founder pretended to be Kira trapped in Crystal.
Yes, yes. And the founder was pretending to be trapped.
Yep. So
And somehow knew how to be exactly like her in order to trick him.
Mm-hmm. And then it's revealed she's uncomfortable, and then hello, pop culture curator, how are you, sir?
Pop culture curator. Hey.
Yes. So she's uncomfortable with him telling her this, and then this let's see, then it comes to the line where he was going to take her out to dinner, and she expected it, But then he said, I'm not going to do that right now because we got an upcoming battle and they both have to be focused. I think this was right after. Um,
Yes, this is called Arms in the season finale.
okay, yeah. Okay, I
Yes,
thought this was.
Odo gives this exchange. He says, which is why I wanted you to know I'm not going to do it. No dinner invitations, no flowers, no attempts at changing the nature of our relationship. Until the current crisis is past, we both need our minds to be clear, to be free of any unnecessary distractions.
Yeah.
It is kind of a funny moment because they're both
Yeah.
relieved to be free of the drama of this kind of stress.
But one must wonder how she felt about the whole thing. I mean, we knew how Odo was, felt about her.
We don't know exactly when she falls in love with him. I don't think it's yet.
No, I don't think so.
Which is more realistic that she doesn't just
Yeah,
do that all of a sudden
right.
because she thinks of him as a friend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So why screw up friendships by becoming lovers?
Especially when we're in the middle of this war and everything is
Mm-hmm.
going crazy. Let's make sure we do our jobs first.
Exactly.
And that's what I love about Star Trek and how it handles relationships. The
Mm-hmm.
duty comes first.
Yep.
Usually.
So then the war happens. They end up behind the lines, and I think their working together behind the lines was probably starting to break the ice.
Yes, especially when the Dominion took over the station and they had to rely on each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when the founder came on board, my impression was, besides the fact that she considered the founder a manipulator and someone that could move Odo into betraying abandoning the Federation, Bejor, etc. I think there was a bit of jealousy there.
Definitely. But it was, yes. But I agree with Kira, though.
Mm-hmm. So then they
And Odo is, well, because Odo is linking up with this female changeling, so she's basically starting the thing with him, even though Odo and Kira haven't started anything yet.
Right. So yeah, when she actually said, "What were you thinking?" I'm thinking, yeah. She's pissed, and not just pissed, but she's jealous.
Well, what the female changeling is trying to manipulate him. She's trying to make him more like her and the other changelings who don't care about solids. Mm-hmm. And the problem with that is that Odo has spent so many years with solids that he cares about them and their existence. So that doesn't happen so easily. And the crossroads comes for Odo when his love for Kira and not wanting her to die breaks him free of her spell.
Yeah. I mean, she actually said that Kira was gonna die. And I think that really that broke the spell, as she said.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And he finally refuses to link with her.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, though, she doesn't see this as a turn away from changelings. So he helps his friends. And after it, he says, the link was paradise. But it appears I'm not ready for paradise. Mm-hmm. Good luck.
Yeah. And also, I think the one line that he says is, "I think you know why," to Kira. And I said, yep. Okay. Oh, yeah. Now we're getting to where it happens. But before we do this, we have where Kira is at the bachelorette party they were at the bachelorette party, and they spent the entire party talking to Odo about um, about the occupation. So I just thought I'd put that in as an interlude. Okay. Jill? Jill is muted.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. So we had the interlude at Jadzia's bachelorette party, but now we're at the where the magic happens. I love this. I love this scene where Odo's learning how to play the piano and Lola comes out. I think that was her name.
Yeah, the name for a hologram version of Kira that doesn't really act like Kira.
No. Well, it's actually the one from Bashir's program that was kind of tweaked.
Right, and Vic had to take away her Russian accent.
Yep.
And hello, Matt G. Matt G is here.
Yeah, hello, Matt G. How you doing, sir? So
Vic Fontaine is trying to teach Odo to loosen up, that he doesn't need to hide his emotions as much as he does. And it makes sense, really, that Odo does hide his emotions, not only as a defense mechanism from being an introvert, but also because if you don't play your hands, you're better at being a detective. So he does all this for his job, but he needs to learn to be a little different for Kira to be able to show her how he feels.
Mm-hmm. Take care, Pop Culture Curator. Hope you enjoyed the chat and catch the rest of it.
Bye-bye, Pop Culture Curator. See you later.
Yeah. So she was singing the song. Whoa. Wow. Just whoa.
Yeah, but Vic is trying to get Odo to practice sharing his feelings with the holograms, but Odo eventually can't really get into it.
Yeah.
And so then then he's kind of giving up on it at this point because it's not the real Kira.
Right.
So then Vic has to step up and he talks to Kira, expressing that Odo only wants to be with Kira. And so he sets up their first date.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And there she is, not overly comfortable. Odo is actually chill in this scene.
He's chill because he thinks that this is the hologram Kira that Vic made to be just like Kira.
Yep. And so he was definitely a lot more relaxed as what was Vic's plan, and she's starting to get loosened up to it. And then the hammer falls.
Yes. He finds out Vic's deception.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we have this famous scene where Kira has her moment of clarity. 2 moments of clarity.
Yep. 2 moments of clarity. And here it comes, the kiss.
Yeah, she confronts Odo. And he kind of gives her an out to go back to just being friends. But she pushes that aside. She asks him out. And then they both push that aside and just say, hey, they just kiss.
Yep, and there's the kid. Yep. And who needs dinner? Yeah. And then it continues with the next season where it Kara says that was some kiss, and Odo said, changed my life.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they continue their working relationship from this point, but now just with that romantic component in the background where they're together.
Yeah. And I think this kind of really helped her to relax too, because like in oh, they started like playing spring ball together, and of course Odo says never play. This should teach you never play spring ball with a changeling.
Right, and that, but he also gives her massage to fix what
Yes.
occurred there.
Uh-huh.
And in Tears of the Prophets, there Odo's work collides with Kira because he arrests this Vedic for fundraising, which is against the rules, and he gets into a bit of trouble with Kira over that.
Yeah. And he says he wants to avoid her, but she says people fight.
Yes.
Yes, people fight. Worf and Dax fight all the time. Hello, Dark Hellman. How are you?
Yeah, I really like Odo and Kira's romance because it's a slow build from the beginning to the last two seasons when Odo finally works up the courage. And
yeah, and then they really
and how they work well together with their responsibilities.
And I think probably the most meaningful part of the relationship happened, and I forgot the episode, but where they find where Chimera, where they find the other changeling.
Right, and that's how Odo goes from being a solid to being a changeling again.
No. This was in season.
Oh, a different one.
Yeah, this was in. Yeah, he was. This one was a full-grown wanderer, played by J.G. Hertzler, and this is the one where he kills a plane.
Oh, right. Okay, this changeling is not a founder like Odo.
No, he was one of the wanderers.
Yes, he's more like Odo, one of the 100 founders that they just threw out into space.
Right, and at the very end, she wanted to find out what he can change into, and he just changed into this energy field. And he changes into this energy field, and she just was in ecstasy. Yes, Laz.
Oh, right. That's when he shows her something special.
Yeah.
You're right. I that would have been a good screenshot to get. I remember that one. That is a good one.
Yes, Scotty, Laz. And hello, Joseph Dredd. I am.
Hey, Joseph Dredd.
Yes. Let's see. So they go through their relationship, and then the war continues, and then Section 31 gets their grubby paws into this.
Yes, right. And right, they make the founder sick, and so Kira has to deal with Odo dying.
Yep. And while still being showing the Cardassians how to build a resistance movement. Let's see. Scotty R37 says birds do it, bees do it, changelings and Bajornese do it. So yeah, she had to deal with a tragic episode because Odo is dying and deteriorating and dying before flaking before her eyes, and he pretty much tells Garak, if I'm not going to tell the woman I love about this, why should I tell you?
Right.
And of course Kira knew. of course, Kira knew and wanted him to have his dignity.
Yeah, but she is worried about him nonetheless. Which of course this is what leads to Bashir and O'Brien invading Sloane's brain from Section 31
Yep.
to find Odo's cure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they almost don't survive the experience because he's dying very quickly and shutting down his brain and putting things out there to distract Julian from seeing the cure.
Right. It's a miracle that they do it, but the reason why it works out is because O'Brien's there. It's a variable that they didn't calculate.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That is true. So then they Pudgy. No, you missed the smoochie. You missed the smoochie, Pudgy.
You missed it by a little bit. I just don't have slides for everything we're talking about. But
Yeah.
hi, Pudgy.
Hello, Pudgy. So then he gets cured. She goes back to the resistance. He stays on the Defiant when they go into the final battle.
Mm-hmm.
And then they knock the Cardassians back to Cardassia Prime after the Dominion have just committed a act of genocide.
Right, after the Dominion commits that act of genocide, the Cardassians finally say, oh yeah, enough of this. And Damar becomes a hero of sorts and sacrifices himself.
Mm-hmm. And then Odo knows what he needs to do and beams down to Cardassia. They have a reunion.
Yes, this time Odo links with the female changeling, not only to cure her of her disease, but also to convince her that the Alpha Quadrant is no threat to the Dominion.
Yep.
And that works. Like at first it doesn't look like anything's going to end the war, but that linking does it.
Mm-hmm.
That ends the fighting.
And probably because because of Odo and Kira's relationship, he was able to pass that on via the link, and that helped probably temper the Founders' bad impulses and start to mellow her out.
Yes, exactly. Because Odo needs to be there to be a voice of reason to the great link that solids aren't so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And Odo says to Kira, Nerys, you know my feelings for you will never change, but I have to do this. My people need me. They need to know what I know, to know what I've learned from living among solids. It's the only way they'll ever learn to trust you.
Yep. And I think because of their relationship, she was able to let him go and accomplish this last mission. And yes, you always said I looked good in a tuxedo. And she even fixed his tie.
Yes. And so Odo goes off to not only physically heal the rest of the changelings, but also their animosity towards the Alpha Quadrant.
Yep. That is that one is, I love that picture right there where he's just going in and going in tuxedo and all to cure the link.
Yep. And that's where he's needed.
Yep.
And so this one is a close-ended relationship, whereas Cisco and Cassidy were open-ended. This one's closed-ended. You know exactly where it goes and how it ends.
Yeah, and it's one of these that maybe it's not ended, because if they can have communication with the Dominion, and in the books there, he helps the founders see better. I think also they kind of get back together, but I have to reread the books.
Oh, really? That is news to me. I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, I have to.
I could imagine that with Odo's influence, that the founders might even have some kind of alliance with the Federation eventually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what was it they did in What We Left Behind? They have Kira being the prophet to the Jem'Hadar. Yeah, I have to see that up, see what they have. You and I have to take a look at that episode. We talked about it.
Okay.
We need to. We've talked about discussing that episode.
What we left behind.
Yeah, What We Left Behind, and the supposed 8th season premiere.
Right. Well,
go ahead.
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay.
I have it somewhere.
Yeah, because there's just so many interesting things of that episode that we can definitely really do some discussions on it.
Oh, right. Okay, so she converts the Jem'Hadar. What does that even mean?
I don't know.
To be part of the Bajoran army?
Yeah.
Instead of serving the founders?
Yeah. Or as an alliance. Hello, Agent Pepsi One. How are you?
Oh, that's wild. That's a wild idea. Hello, Agent Pepsi One.
Okay. Now, this one, now the third and final, and probably the most tragic, sort of.
Yes.
When you're talking about a trill, you have to say sort of.
Right, because
so
the symbiote survives. But
yep,
Jadzia doesn't.
Yep. So we are talking about Worf and hello, Deef. How are you, sir?
Hi, Deef.
So yes, now we're talking about Worf and Jadzia.
Yes, they're probably they're another one of the good working relationships.
Yes.
Working together as warriors and on the Defiant.
Yeah. And we know that we know from Blood Oath that Curzon wasn't the only Dax with a bit of the Klingon nature.
Yes.
So
she helps. She upholds the Blood Oath and helps take down the albino.
Right. So she's got a bit of the Klingon nature of her own. So she is.
And Worf knows about Curzon.
Yes, Worf knows about Curzon.
Curzon's pretty famous in
the Empire, yes. So the first time they meet is on when he first arrives on DS9 in the Way of the Warrior. So
yes, in the holo program, Worf's exercising.
Yeah,
and they fight.
Well, before that, they come down. Jadzia and Kira came down from the holosuite, and Worf happens to see Drex, son of Martok, and pretty much kicks his butt. And Jadzia says, "Whoa, he is good."
Mm-hmm.
So he definitely piqued her interest.
Yes,
at that time.
She watched. Yeah, right. She's paying attention.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then I think Jadzia gave him gave him Klingon opera. He decided he was going to live on the Defiant,
Yes, that's right.
so she
And-
gave him some Klingon.
Right, on an isolinear chip.
Yep.
And this is her favorite Klingon opera, so she already enjoys that particular
Mhm.
genre of music.
Yeah. And then
There's also that episode where they find the sword of Kalis, and Dax is there to help them
on their
keep them
quest,
from killing each other,
that's true.
keeping Worf and Core from killing each other. And
Mhm.
also, there's some other conflict there too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hello, Bird of Prey 5. Kapla.
Hey, Kapla, Bird of Prey 5.
Wow,
You
this
got
is the
here
first
just
time
in
he's
time
been
for
here.
work.
Yeah, welcome.
Woohoo!
Yes. So they
And by the Bar Association episode, Dax decides to try her hand at the mek'leth because that's the kind of weapon that Worf has been using. So she
Mhm.
gives it a try herself.
yeah. So then we have, no matter what you think about it, this is the first time we see that they definitely were going to start a relationship, looking for
Mhm.
Parmok in all the wrong places.
Yes, because Worf is pining after Grilka. And I guess all of this pining after Grilka stirs something with Dax.
Yep.
And she decides to go for it.
Yep.
Because she's not like Odo, who's going to take 5 seasons to figure out what to do.
Yeah.
It takes her 5 minutes.
Yeah, she decides, no, this is going to stop. I'm going to make my move.
Yes, and she just starts with a little flirting. She says, "Looking for someone. Shouldn't you be looking for someone a little more entertaining, a little more fun, and maybe even a little more attainable?"
Uh-huh. Yep. Because at this time, he's still dishonored based on his actions on the Way of the Warrior.
Right.
So
he's kind of cut off from dating other Klingon women from Kronos, and he's even told that by another Klingon who says, "No, you can never be with Grilka because you're dishonored. Your house is in ruins." And so Worf's heart is just broken over this.
Yeah, but then he finds Jadzia.
Yes.
Yep.
And she's the aggressor.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
And it's shown here.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And
Agent
of course, oh yeah, go ahead.
Agent Pepsi 1 is saying, "I'm trying to find Shakespeare in native Klingon to appreciate it properly."
That's true. Actually, someone did translate Shakespeare into Klingon.
Oh. Pudgy says, "Klingon smoochy time."
Yes.
Yeah.
And Bashir doesn't want to know what's happened. He's just going to treat their injuries.
Yep. Well, you take care, Comic Relief Crusader. You take care. Have a good night. We'll catch you later.
Good night, Comic Relief Crusader.
Legatus Legionii says Hamlet and Much Ado About Nothing have both been translated as part of the Klingon Shakespeare Restoration Project by the Klingon Language Institute. Huh.
Thank you, Legatus.
I have to look at that. Hello, Pod Racing Palpatine.
Hello.
Welcome. So, they have their relationship. It starts.
They do. They go to Ryza.
They go to Ryza, and
they have some kind of adventure there.
Mm-hmm. And then the war is getting ready to heat up, and just as Worf is getting ready to go, well, before that, Worf finds Martok.
Mhm.
And Jadzia was thinking that Worf was probably gone because they were going to try and close up the wormhole.
Yes. Yes,
And,
she's upset that Worf didn't tell her that he was going on this mission.
mm-hmm,
So she borrows the Klingon opera back
mm-hmm,
and tells him, "Have a glorious death, or don't. It's up to
yeah.
you."
Mm-hmm. So
And so Worf goes to find Martok, like you said.
mm-hmm, and finds out more than Martok. Finds Julian. Uh, finds the truth out about Garrick
Yes,
and Abrantane and
being his dad.
being his dad, and that is a show in itself.
It is. It's an incredible episode watching Worf defeat all of those Jem'Hadars before
Mm-hmm.
it looks like he's going to succumb to death, but the Jem'Hadars don't kill him.
He's bored.
Yeah, right. Because they could kill him, but they would never defeat his spirit, so they don't want to kill him.
So they come back, and now the war starts getting closer. It's not so much a Cold War anymore because now,
Sorry.
well, so we know that the war is coming. Gul Dukat is pretty much the SOB that we thought he was.
Even more so, even more strange than ever.
Yep. And but just before they, excuse me, just before they bail out, they evacuate Deep Space Nine to go their separate ways. Jadzia pretty much proposes to Worf. She says,
Yes.
I'll marry you. And she says, that's what you wanted. So in my mind, she proposed to him.
That's right. Because she knows that's what he wanted. And she said from the beginning that she wasn't going to be traditional about it, because if they had been traditional, they would have gotten married right after their first time from this picture.
Yep. Hello, Beep Bop Poop. Welcome. You're a first timer here.
And she also goes along with him as Worf commands the Klingon ship as first officer. She figures out how to get on board as science officer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was when Martok has his first command.
Yes.
Because Martok gets his first command. Worf goes as first officer. Jadzia joins in.
Yes, and Worf intervenes to make sure that they save 5 Klingon soldiers who are stuck on a Jem'Hadar ship. Yep. And this impresses Martok, and so he accepts Worf into his family, his house.
Yep, he is not. Worf is now part of the House of Martok. So, okay. Sandra will find that out, who his name. So they plan the wedding in absentia, and I like Hal said, you have your wedding your way, and I'll have my wedding my way. And as he's pointing to Worf, as Worf's doing the wedding plans.
Yeah. Well, Worf is basically the bridezilla here. He's going to get the wedding that he wants because Jadzia's had so many weddings that she's letting him take charge of everything.
Yep.
Even when she orders, she has the sacrificing of the Targ after the wedding feast. Worf says no, it should be the other way around. So she says, have it your way. First we'll shed blood and then we'll feast.
As it should be. Yeah. So they're still separated.
Mhm.
Jadzia is commander of the Defiant, while Cisco is stuck on the Star base. And then eventually they get back onto Deep Space Nine. And in between this, Worf and Alexander get back together. Yep, there's the promotion. There's the proposal.
Yes.
Yeah, I want you to know the answer is yes.
They tried with Alexander. The writers didn't quite.
I did not. I really did not. I really did not like what they did with Alexander.
Me neither, because you could tell he was just trying to be a soldier, but that's not what he wanted to do. And we
No.
never really found out what kind of life Alexander really wanted.
Yeah.
I
But
know when
then-
he was a kid, he used to do all this artwork.
Mhm. But my thought is, then if he never wanted to be a soldier, how the heck did he end up in the Klingon Defense Force?
Because he was trying to do what he thought Worf wanted from him.
Yeah.
That's all it was. And
Mhm.
Worf never sat him down to say, "Hey, you should do what you want to do." And so
Mhm.
that never got resolved to
Yeah.
any good
That's true. And but at the same
conclusion.
time, he nearly gets into some shenanigans trying to keep the Klingon vessels from blowing up.
Mhm.
But Alexander has a big part in speeding up the wedding ceremony.
Right.
Rather than waiting, they decide to do a Klingon bachelor party. She does a Trill bachelor party. She cold cocks Martok's wife in the process. Oh, looks like she is taking care of. So let's go into. So who are you, beep bop boop? Let's see. That's right, Agent Pepsi 1.
Yeah, actually, my husband and I are very similar to that. The way we celebrate Valentine's Day is spend more time together than normal, and that's about it.
Yeah. Well, we went to tonight. We went to dinner
Mhm.
at a new place near our house. So, because she had a meeting last night, so we had dinner tonight, and of
And
course
that's really great because then it's not as packed the day after.
that's true. That's true. Oh, Charlotte. Okay. Yes, Podgy, and then smoochy time.
Yes, there's lots of smoochy times.
Lots of smoochy time. Lots of smoochy time. And of course, Snoopy's got to get his smoochies in too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
My cat just bites.
No, we get into cuddle. He has to be the center of attention, so he butts in.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Yeah. Agent Pepsi 1 says, "No, is she nuts? Never, ever let a man take care of the wedding. They typically can't even coordinate colors or anything else." Whoa. Wow. Okay.
It seems to go pretty well because I think it's Martok's mom wife rather,
Wife.
who sets everything up.
Wife. Yes.
Sorella.
Yeah, of course. But then she has to vet Jadzia, and of course, Jadzia is evidently Martok's wife isn't overly impressed that she is that she's a Dax.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And she works her harder than she would a normal Klingon.
Yeah. Yep, that's
And
true.
Dex perseveres and overcomes all of her challenges, but then
Uh-huh.
gets in trouble because she decides to have a fun bachelorette party.
Uh-huh. And in the process, Knox punches Cirilla.
Yes. And so Sorella cancels the wedding at first.
Yeah. And
And then
so,
both Worf and Dax have their questions. They question their
yeah, should they continue this?
yes, Worf says anyone can see that we're hopelessly mismatched. She is a Trill. I am a Klingon.
Mhm.
She has had 5 marriages. This would be my first. When she's
Which is
laughing. Yeah, right.
which is a retcon because we both know that Worf was mated to Kaler.
Oh, right. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. So
that was a mistake on the writer's part.
oh yeah. Yeah. It was a screw up on their part.
Definitely.
And the fact that Alexander's there proves it.
And true. Then Dax says, I wasn't looking to fall in love. I was perfectly happy by myself. I had friends, a career, adventure. Then one day, this Klingon with a bad attitude walked into my life. And the next thing I know, I'm getting married.
Yeah.
After 356 years and 7 lifetimes, I still lead with my heart.
Yep. And it took Cisco and Martok to do a little butt kicking to get them back into the altar.
Yes. And somehow that works.
Yep.
She's told to treat Sorella with respect.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then they get married, and I know you got a picture.
Yes.
I love those outfits.
Yes, so Agent Pepsi one has nothing to worry about. The wedding looks beautiful.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And they have their Klingon ritual involves a little play about the Klingon hearts meeting together.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But also Agent Pepsi one asks a good question. She says,
Yeah.
were they actually married? Worf and Alexander's mom. I thought they never went through the wedding, which shamed his family.
They never.
Nope, they did not.
Okay. Sandra says they didn't, and you're right. All they went. You look at it, and they did go through the motions. You know where he was doing a bit of the motions, but other than consummating, I couldn't. I don't think they did. I don't think they were married.
Yeah, they weren't married.
Yeah.
So there you go.
She stopped him.
Yeah, she stopped him. Yeah, she stopped him. She said nope. But then ends up with a kid. So, let's see.
And if we join together, no force can stop us.
Yep.
It's part of the marriage ceremony.
Mm-hmm. Yep, this is and Sorella owns up that Sorella owns up that she might have been a little too hard on him.
She definitely was. She basically tortures Dax the entire episode, making her work 3 times harder than any other Klingon.
Yep. And Scotty R37 says unwed. Mm-hmm. And Snort said, "Oh, welcome to the House of Martok."
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And of course, Snortapupus, they just engaged in the traditional Klingon rite of snoo snoo, followed by weeks of physical therapy.
Yes.
Yes. And probably some traction. I would have to say, you've got it. You probably have to have some traction.
And they also go on a honeymoon, but it's not as lavish as
No, they go
Dax
on.
wants.
Yep, they go to rescue a Cardassian spy.
Yeah. Well, they try to rescue the spy.
Yeah.
But then Dax gets injured,
Mhm.
and Worf decides to save her instead of saving the spy.
Yep. Which
he gets reprimanded for. Where Cisco says, "Were you aware that the information that man had could have saved millions of lives?" And Worf says, "You were at my wedding. You heard the story of the first two Klingon hearts and how nothing could stand against them, and how they even destroyed the gods that created them. I have heard that story since I was a boy, but I never understood it. I mean, really understood it, until I was standing in the jungle with my heart pounding in my chest, and I found that even I could not stand against my own heart. I had to go back, and it did not matter what Starfleet thought or what the consequences were. She was my wife, and I could not leave her." And so that's when Cisco decides that there's not going to be any formal charges, but also Worf and Jadzia are not to go on any more missions together like this.
Yep. Yep.
But that Cisco would have done the same thing for Jennifer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he definitely would have. Agent Pepsi 1 says, consummating the marriage is the fun part, even though I'm a hopeless romantic and spent countless hours obsessing over my dress, the reception, and everything. We had someone else on our wedding. We had somebody else do all that.
Wow, you had somebody else do all the planning.
Yeah, my
sister-in-law.
sister-in-law.
You're right. I basically spent months before the wedding doing all the planning myself, and it really is time consuming.
Yeah, well, my sister-in-law took it on herself. She made all the arrangements. All we did was set up the venue, set up the preacher, and we got married in our dress uniforms, and it was a great time, and we enjoyed ourselves.
Nice.
Yep. And I even went into the reception with a kilt.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful.
Yep. Let's see. And there's Yoshi being...
Yes. And this was my only contribution to... Well, I mean, I did make the slides, but this is the only slide that you didn't ask for.
Oh, that's fine. That's cute.
It is cute. I love this, that they were trying to make it so that Worf and Jadzia wanted to have a family together. And so here they're practicing, and Worf is babysitting Yoshi so that Jadzia could go watch Asteroid or something. She was going to go watch some kind of celestial body.
Yeah.
And Worf takes it as a challenge.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Oh, and we don't forget the ship. One little ship. That
right,
was
and the poetry.
Him trying to do a poem of their little effort, and that was. But just the emotion that you see Jadzia when she sees Worf, even though she's little tiny person, looking at her great big hubby.
Yeah, they are separated in that episode when is part of the little shuttlecraft that gets shrunk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I like this. Was this when Worf was looking at Jadzia
and Bashir?
Yeah.
Wait, it was Bashir and O'Brien.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. So they then took me months too. I wore my gray Nance wedding gown. Oh, that's nice. I decided to have it, take it in, set up everything. Stephen basically decided, let's have Mafalda. What is Mafalda?
I don't know.
Maybe
But I
she'll
guess
have.
that was his only request.
Yep. Yep. So they had, then came their invasion of Cardassia, and Worf and Jadzia were talking about having a baby.
Yes.
And again, when I first saw this, I'm over there. Voyager had been on for a couple seasons, so we know Klingons and humans could have children. So I was over there going, "Why? What is Bashir talking about? Jadzia and Worf having a problem
I'm
with,
not sure.
unless there's something with Trill physiology
It's possible.
that, yeah, Trill physiology." Because we know Klingons and humans can have children. Alexander. So I guess she goes in, and I know I'm going fast forwarding this, but she goes in to the temple or the Bajoran chapel.
Right.
And
she's going to pray. She's actually going to ask the prophets, but the prophets aren't there.
Mm-hmm.
The prophets have been supplanted by Gul Dukat with
Not yet. No.
Paul Wraiths.
Not yet.
No? Okay.
No. She's praying. She's praying, and right at that moment, Dukat shows up at the chapel and kills her.
Yes. With the power of the Paul Wraith.
And then the Paul Wraiths are released and go into this celestial temple. So, yeah, Dukat kills her, and fortunately, and of course, Cisco is feeling the effects of the invasion on the Defiant, and then they go back to DS9. Dax stays alive just enough to say that they would have had a beautiful baby.
They would have. This is true.
Worf does the scream, and fortunately, the symbiont is still alive.
Yes.
But go ahead.
But Jadzia doesn't make it.
No, she doesn't make it. So, and Worf reveals afterwards that she has not made Tovacor because of the way she died. It was
right,
not
because she was just basically murdered. It wasn't in the heat of battle.
Nope, it wasn't in glorious battle, and so Worf had to go on a quest to do something glorious so that Jadzia's soul can be entered into Tovacor.
Yeah, and I love how his friends want to be there for him to help.
Yep, even Quark,
O'Brien,
and Bashir.
Yes,
Yep.
all of the people who love Dax.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But at first, he's not very thankful about it at first.
No,
because he thinks they're not really worthy of Jadzia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the bottom line is he wanted to do it for her.
Right.
He wanted it to be his only quest to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he says that she often talked about all of you. It seemed as though that even when we were alone, one of you was always with us.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, but they also Okay, so I really like this episode because they have to get really close to the star to
Mhm.
cause a mass ejection big enough to kill to destroy the shipyards, the Dominion shipyards.
Yep.
And that solar ejection is what destroys the Jem'Hadar ships,
And the
that
shipyard.
and that's supposedly what will get Jedzia into Stoke.
Yep. And then they all come back to Deep Space Nine to find out that Dax is not out of their lives yet.
Right. And then stuff happens with Ezri.
Yep, stuff happens with Ezri, yes. So,
And also Tiger Stripes is here.
hello, Tiger Stripes.
Hi, Tiger Stripes.
Glad you are here. And they're talking about this muffalata. And I know I'm massacring it.
Muffalata.
Muffalata. It's a new. I've been looking at. It is a good seeing you, Tiger Stripes. It is, I guess, the sandwich type, sandwich native to New Orleans. And Snorta Poopa says, "Boo, Ducat, boo." Yes, Ducat's a real SOB. So, all right. So that is the three big romances of DS9. There are some others. I mean,
Right, there are some others.
We've got Ram and Lita.
Right. And where Ram ends up being
the Nagus
and changing history for Ferengi.
Yep. And let's see. And you could say that Quark and Grilka.
Yeah. Wait, do they get together? What?
Oh, he gets broken in two. He ends up in the infirmary.
Well, right. They do make love, but I don't think they stay together.
And if we must mention these two,
Keiko and Miles.
Miles.
Well, I do like the first episode that they appear in Data's Day. Is one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah. But yeah.
And if you Keiko might not always be the most supportive, but Miles is. He's an extremely loving and caring husband for Keiko. And
I will admit that.
Yeah, Scotty R37 says, "Say what you will about Keiko, but Miles loves her, and that is good enough for me."
Yeah, but
it's true. I don't know why, but he does.
Yeah, even at the last episode, she wants to take their Alamo diorama and have it put into a museum.
I know.
Yeah.
She thinks he's living like a bachelor.
Keiko's got that tiger mom thing going on. That's Agent Pepsi One says, "Oh my God, I wish I had a romance, but on Enterprise. Trip. Oh my God, Trip. He makes me weak and swoon. Must be the Southern accent there, Agent Pepsi One."
Well, if he can melt the icy heart of a Vulcan, that makes sense.
That's true. Snorta Poopa says, "O'Brien must suffer. Keiko is proof of that." Yeah. All right. So that is our Valentine's Day special. Thank you very much, Jill.
You're welcome. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this was fun. I enjoy our DS9 discussions.
Me too, especially the prep for this one. I enjoy all of the Deep Space Nine discussions, but the prep for this one was the easiest.
I
have to say that it was a lot of fun because Star Trek is about people doing their jobs and on the ship, and so the romance isn't really what Star Trek is about. But Deep Space Nine gets so deep into the characters that it becomes integral to their lives.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. So,
Since they are on a station.
oh yeah, they're on a station. They're not on a starship. Well, if you count the Defiant, but that's so small, you really can't. You can't count it as a starship.
No, that's Worf's apartment.
That's a boy's apartment, yes. Up until he moves in with Jadzia. Yeah. And what I don't like what I don't like about the next generation movies is they completely wrote that out of any interaction with Worf. I mean that was a big part of Worf's life that should have been put in even in a small amount into the movies.
Yeah, I think it's probably because the writing staff were separated a little bit, and so you just had the people writing for Next Generation putting Worf aside because he's on Deep Space Nine now.
Yeah, that's true.
That is disappointing. I agree, but there's a lot of disappointing things about the Next Generation movies.
Oh yeah, definitely. The only one that wasn't really any good was the First Contact, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Although I did like Nemesis. I
don't really get many toys, but one I would want would be of the Phoenix.
Yeah. I think I had. No, my cousin or my nephew did had the Phoenix. Agent Pepsi 1 says Trip was from Florida. T'Pol is so wrong for him. There was that one special girl for him, and it certainly isn't that pointy-eared Pitbull from the desert planet. Whoa!
Wow, that's harsh. But Trip was from Texas, wasn't he?
No, he's from Florida.
Oh, Florida. Okay.
Yeah. Remember, Florida got clobbered, destroyed by the Zindi, and he had family there. So yeah, he was from Florida.
Okay.
And Dalek 451 says it may be small, but the Defiant is classed as a proper starship. And let's see. Yeah. I didn't think it was a cinematic masterpiece, but I liked it. So, all right. So,
why do I think of Texas?
A lot of talking about sandwiches, the mafaletas. Okay. So, well, we will. You can keep T'Pol. My husband is in love with her too. Okay. All right. So, again, thank you very much. I enjoyed this.
Me too.
This is always a good time when we talk about DS9.
Definitely.
So, you're in the right place, Maddie's daddy. Especially on a Saturday when we talk about food.
Yes, Maddie's daddy says, being from Louisiana and being Italian, I love food.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we love food here. You should have seen the big chocolate chip cookie Pudgy showed us a picture of. Snorter Poopas Q Burr says the only character that ever came close to defrosting my icy cold Arctic heart was Jadzia. You won't get an argument from me, Snort.
Yeah, I love her too.
Yes. She was smart, logical, but still could kick some butt and had a Klingon heart.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wish, though, they would have developed I wish they would have had one more season to develop Ezri. She was a great character, but needed one more season.
I agree completely. They had to stuff it in just a few episodes. They seem to waste a lot of time doing some weird stuff with Worf, even though it was already against Trill custom to be with a previous partner.
Yep. Which, well, no, she was. Jadzia was never with Julian, so that didn't count.
Right.
Yeah. So that
Right.
was,
And it was because Jadzia never was, always left that love unrequited. And that's the only reason Ezri was able to be with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Ezri told Julian that if it wasn't for Worf, it would have been her.
Yes.
It would have been him. So
According to the symbiote.
Yep. So, okay. Sandra says, after the show, please go over to Pop Culture Breakdown, and there's the link.
Yeah, that's right. Head on to Overlord DVD's channel. Doomcock is having his pop culture breakdown.
Yep.
Do you know what the movie is tonight?
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Because that's my favorite segment, is when they talk about an old movie that they really
Oh.
wrote.
Princess Bride.
The Princess Bride.
Oh, of course. Okay, great.
Okay. So, yeah, we'll both be in bed by then. Cobalt chases after Pudgy. The hedgehog's attention span was reached, and there were no more jokes to be made. Hey, you never asked about the cookie. But, of course, I think he's asked both of us about cookies. So, well, okay, let us. Tiger Stripe says, The Princess Bride, inconceivable. So, yeah, it's time. It is time for show notes. Oh, and stick around afterwards in the back room so we can talk about how we did.
Okay.
All right. So show notes.
It's time for show notes. It's time for show notes. It's time for show notes. With Mr. Raymond and Sandra too. It's time for show notes.
Done. All right. Again, thank you. Tonight was excellent. I loved it tonight. And thank you very much for graciously coming and helping out, Jill.
You're welcome. Yes, I'm glad we focused on 3 of the biggest ones, because there's lots of other romance in Deep Space Nine that would have taken forever to get through.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So this, ladies, this is for you. This Saturday is Ladies' Night. It will be hosted by Wendy Webb, ladies panel only. So, and the guys will just have to hang out in the chat and listen to the ladies do their thing.
Yeah, what is our thing? Or do we have a theme?
No.
No.
It's
Okay.
gonna be Ladies' Night just 'cause style.
Just 'cause style. Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. So yes. So please stop on by, ladies, and have fun. Wendy's gonna be hosting. Sandra will be there. I'm going to be the technical support, but my mouth, if you can imagine it, will be shut.
Okay, so great. So Wendy's going to be the anchor?
Yes, Wendy is the anchor. Yes. Or as Sandra would say, good, she's not listening. Well, as Sandra would say, Slave Raymond. So, and Fed has something.
Whoa.
Yeah, she's cackling over here, and she's already told Fett about it. So I'm scared. I'm scared, but it is the ladies. It is for the ladies. So please come and have fun. so we can wind up Valentine's week. All right, on the 22nd, we're going to have an update from Stephanie Janicek and her Smuggler's Cantina. She'll be on next week. And then a month that I'm looking forward to, March Madness on Radio King Dolphin TV. I like that. March Madness. Except that's already been taken, isn't it? But, oh well.
I'm sure.
So
I think it's like sports.
Yeah, sports. Yeah, it's basketball. Yeah. So
yeah, we can have it.
Yeah, we can have it. Yeah, we can have it. They don't need it. So we're going to split this up with two separate adventures / readers. The first, 15th, and the 29th will have Pudgy Story Time, Pudgy Adventures, read by Cobalt and Pudgy.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
we've never heard Pudgy stories read out loud before.
No. Yep, we're gonna have Pudgy stories read out loud. I don't know which one she's going to. I don't know which ones they're gonna read, but it's gonna be fun. And then on the 8th and the 22nd, you come back and we read 2 chapters of All's Fair, a Dolphin Wars novel.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy our readings.
Me too.
So
we do rehearsals, so they get better every time.
Yes, they get better all the time. We rehearse weekly, and it's going to be fun. So that is the month of March, and of course, interspersed there will be some Just Causes, except for the weekend of the 3rd. That's probably we probably won't have a Just Cause that weekend because Sandra and I are away on a long away mission. So,
that sounds good.
Yep. So we will probably miss that week. So that is, and Cobalt says, yay. And hello, Spoopy Boy Games. And I don't know who this Joe is, but
I don't either.
Probably talking about Pop Culture Breakdown. But hello, Spoopy Boy Games.
Oh, right.
Have not seen you before, and hope you like the stream and subscribe. We do some good things here. So I didn't want to do that. But that is what we're going to do on for the next month and a half. And I'm already starting to plan out April and May. So wow, already saying May.
Yeah, right. When you plan ahead like that, you really make the year go by a little faster.
Yep. And heck, we are at 131 episodes, and we've got I've got 250 subscribers thanks to you guys.
Hooray! And pretty soon you'll be at 300.
Yep. I'll have to do a 300 subscribers celebration.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes.
All right. So we shall thank everybody for coming here tonight. But wait, I got to end the show notes.
This segment is brought to you by thedolphinboys.com. It's time for show notes. It's time for show notes. It's time for show notes. With Mr. Raymond and Sandra too. It's time for show notes.
Dun. So, okay.
I sing that part too.
Oh, you do? All right. Okay, so Cobalt liked it, and Dalek will be doing a stream playing more Hogwarts Legacy. Cool. All right,
Thank you.
so let's thank the wrenches that were here and helped keep order. Yeah, right. Here in the pod, we had Sandra, the producer. We
Yeah.
had Dalek 451. Thank you. Fed for Hire was here but lurking, and I think he had to go back to work. We had John Rendell. We had Legatus Legion I, the first win, last out. We
Nice.
had the Comic Relief Crusader, and
Cool.
of course the Rare Bear, the Bear Rare Bear. Start up a bus! Cuber.com. Great show. Go to Dalek's channel, or I'll bite you. Arr. All right. Hello, Lemon Pie. Sorry you're making the tail end, but please watch the replay.
Hello, Lemon Pie.
Yes,
I hope
please
you do
watch.
enjoy the replay.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Let's see. We had in our chat, boy, we had a lot of people here. Oh, and I can't forget, we had Pudgy as a wrench. Pudgy was here, but probably didn't stay long. He probably had all the cookies all over the chasing after cookies and eclairs, but Pudgy was here. We had Agent Pepsi 1. Thank you for being here. Please show up on Saturday for Ladies' Night. Charlotte, also known as Beep Bop Boop. Thank you for being here. We had Bird of Prey 5, Kapla.
Kapla.
We had Cobalt Ball Deep Goal. We had Dark Helmet. Thank you for being here, Dark Helmet. We had Deef. Thank you for being here, Deef. Please go to Deef's. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Please check out Deef's books, Circle of Vengeance, which is his latest one. There you go. We had Joseph Dredd, Lemon Pie again, who came on the tail end. We had Maddie's daddy, Matt G. Pod Racing Palpatine, the Pop Culture Curator. Please go to Pop Culture Curator's channel.
Yes, I stream with him for the animated series. We're almost done with the animated series, so stay tuned to see what we review next on Mondays.
Yep. We had Scotty R37. We had Stuart
and I stream with him too.
Oh, yeah? Please go to Scotty R37's channel.
And that's called the Phantasmagorium Show.
Okay. All right. We had Stuart Mitchell, the lovely Tiger Stripes. I hope you're going to be there Saturday.
Me too.
Yes. And I hope you're going to be there as well, Jill.
Yes, I hope to be there. I do also have to do my reviews because it's also Saturday night Star Trek day. So I got to make sure I get my reviews done early so I could be there for the...
Okay. All right. And we had Spoopy Boy Games. Thank you. Again, if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't liked, please like and subscribe. And enjoy, if you enjoy what we're doing here. Jill, please post your channel.
Yes, my channel is Antiderivative Jill. I have lots of science fiction stuff going on, and I love to talk about Star Trek, obviously. Right now, I'm reviewing the original series. On Tuesday, I'll be reviewing Space Seed with Scotty R37 and Pop Culture Curator. So that should be a fantastic show. And this Friday, I'm going to have a Friday show where we have a little bit more of a loose review of things. We go through slides, but we don't go scene by scene. So we just talk about what we like from the movie and some of the production stuff of the movie. And for this week, we're going to look at the movie, the 2013 Her, which is, I guess, from what I haven't seen it yet, but it's a love story with somebody who falls in love with an AI.
Okay.
What happens with that?
All right. Lemon Pie says, "Okay, I'll watch the replay, but then who will laugh the comments? I make to myself like a crazy person."
And one more thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Tomorrow
Mhm.
on the Phantasmagorium show with Scotty R37, I will be reviewing the Android Picard series with him, and so we'll talk about it and see what we think.
Hope you survived the experience.
Well, me too. It
So,
looks pretty dark, so we'll see.
Okay. All right. Well, that is it for this evening's interview. I hope you all liked it, and we will be doing more of these Deep Space Nine discussions. Again, we'll have Radio King Dolphin TV in March, where we'll hear Jill's audio acting chops. She's very good, I'll tell you that. Just watching the most recent reviews, you'll be very surprised when you hear her next readings. So,
thank you.
All right. So, everybody, you guys take care, be safe, be healthy, stay dry wherever you're at. And ladies and gents, see you on Saturday for Ladies' Night. And take care.
Good night.
Night.